Hello, everybody. A very, very warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today to this webinar on solving 700 plus level multi-source reasoning questions on the GMAT. So let me call out your names, the ones that I can see. Hello, Iyaz, Anay, Arvind, Claver, AP, Kirti, Lakshita. These are some of the names that are visible at my end. And all the others who are still joining, a very, very warm welcome to all of you. I'm just going to put out a poll here. So let me know if you can hear me right now as I speak. Am I clear? Am I clearly audible? Okay, wonderful. Good to know. All right. Cool. So let me get us started. Some of you may already know me. And for those of you who don't, my name is Sunita, and I will be your host this evening. So let me just give me one moment, guys. Something is an issue here. 1 second. Just a moment. There's some issue that I can see. Just give me a moment. Let me just. Yeah, I think that's sorted now. So now that we are sorted, let me just quickly get on with the rest of it. Yeah. Sorry, guys, for the glitch. So as I was saying, some of you might already know me. And those of you who don't, my name is Sunita. I'll be your host this evening. I have tons of teaching experience. More than that, what I have enjoyed throughout my career is interacting with students. So I'm involved with a lot of private tutoring or one-on-one tutoring, apart from content making and course curating. And during that interaction is when I learned that what are the problems students face when it comes to real-time solving of these kind of questions. So what are we going to learn today? See, with multi-source reasoning questions, I'm sure all of you will agree with me that the problem is the details and the limited time. So what we are going to learn today is how to analyze these multiple sources of information, because on the exam you have these pieces of information on different tabs. So it's very difficult to keep going back and forth, from one tab to another and then to the question, because at times the same question will require you to go through multiple sources of information. So how to analyze these sources of information so that you can make proper, appropriate notes for quick reference. Now, these notes cannot be lengthy, detailed notes, yet they have to be notes which capture almost every bit of information. So how to do that? And I'll also show you that if you make these notes appropriately, the time that you will invest in making these notes will actually be compensated for when you are able to eliminate the choices based on on the basis of these very notes. So in that order, we are going to do these three things today. I have brought up some really hard questions. All right. Most of them are hard. One of them, one or two in between in the set might be an easy question, because on any given set of multiple source reasoning you won't get all hard questions. So if it's a 5 set question, you might get 3 questions hard and 2 medium, or 3 hard and 1 medium and 1 easy, and so on and so forth. So let me know if all of you are ready to get started. So Paras, from what I have understood known from my students, is you might get 1 or 2. That's what I have seen usually. Okay, 1 or 2. So yes, let's set the ball rolling. Now, what I'm going to do is, since these questions these questions entail you to follow different tabs, and which is very difficult to represent on screen here. So what I have done is I'm going to share a file with all of you. All right. In fact, I have started sharing a PDF file for the first question. Let me know once you have downloaded the file. Okay. I'm just going to put out the poll here. Let me know if you have been able to download the file that I'm sharing right now. For those of you who don't know what to do, look at the panel next to your chat box. There is an icon made up of written files. Over there, you will find I'm sharing one file. Download that file. Now, you can see that that particular question has, this question 1 has 6 sub questions, okay? So we're going to solve those 6 sub questions. You tell me how much time I should give you so that you can attempt those questions. So Paras, if I take a quick look at that file, just give me one moment. So we are looking at Island Museum Analysis. This is a single question made up of 6 sub questions. So I want you to go through the data and solve the first question. Okay. In fact, it would be good if you solved all the questions. All right. And then write down the answers next to those questions for yourselves. And then we can start solving one by one. So how much time should I give you to solve those 6 questions? You can tender your timings, like the timing. So Paras, it's a single set. Paras, you can expect 1 or 2 sets, if I haven't made myself clear. 1 or 2 sets in the exam. So guys, tell me how much time I should give you to solve these 6 questions quickly. For those of you who are still joining us, you can get the first set of questions by downloading the file which I'm sharing currently with you. All right, so CM says 8 minutes, Arvind says 10 minutes. To be very fair, guys, there are 6 questions, so I think I can give you, like, with the peace of mind, I can give you, if you're going to solve 6 questions, all right, I can give you easily 10 to 12 minutes. So 10 to 12 minutes for solving 6 questions. So Clever says 10 minutes. I'm okay with giving you 12 minutes as well, but you have to let me know if you need. How many? I'll once again ask the question. Have all of you been able to download the file that I'm sharing? Have all of you been able to download the file I'm sharing? Please download that file. Okay, thank you. I can see all of you have. So I'm giving you 12 minutes. All right, the time starts now. I'll mute myself and just write down the answers next, just maybe on a piece of paper or even on soft copy. And when I start discussing the questions one by one, then you can post your answers as and when required. So I can see Surya S, Iyaz, Theo Wendy, Sonalika, Ane, Arvind, CM, Paras, Clever, AP, Rahul, Kira, Bhumi, Sonika, Kirti, Deepabra, sorry, Lakshita, Avnish, and George, to name a few. So those of you who've just joined, please download the file that I'm sharing and solve those 6 questions, post which I'm going to start the discussion, show you how to solve these questions real fast and with high accuracy. I can see people are still joining. So those of you who've just joined, there's a file that I'm sharing. Okay, the file has one MSR set with 6 questions. Please download that file and solve those questions. There are approximately 10 minutes left. If you have any queries, you can write in the chat box. I'll reply. For those of you who've just joined, there's a file that I'm sharing. Please download that file at your end and solve the questions. We will go into the discussion in another, I guess, let me just tell you the time. Yeah, in another 6 minutes approximately. So just download the file and start solving, and then we'll discuss how to solve these kind of questions. Let me know if any of you are having problems downloading the file. I think most of you have been able to download. If you have finished solving, just hold on to your answers. Don't post them now, please. All right, 1 more minute left. Okay, guys, your time is over. So I'm going to stop sharing the file. Let me know if all of y'all have finished solving the questions. Have all of you finished solving the questions? If you have finished solving all questions, just write yes quickly. If you haven't, don't worry. When I start sharing the questions, you can solve them. Great. So now, here's a quick question to all of you once again. How many of you have made notes of these different sources? So there were 3 sources shared here: the techniques, the artifacts, and the budgets. But budget, right? So how many of y'all, okay, made your own notes? If you've made notes, mark a yes. If you haven't, mark a no. How many of y'all have made your own notes? Please answer the poll. There is a poll right there. How many of you have made your own notes? Okay, so some of you have made detailed notes, some of you haven't, some of you have made a kind of map of it. Not an issue, because today I'm going to show you how you should read these or analyze these sources and what you should do in terms of note making. You know, the particular purpose being that when it comes to solving the questions, you won't have to waste too much of time. The whole purpose is that. Okay, so let's get started. Those of you who have your notes ready at hand, take them out, keep them right beside you, or so that you can check the way I am noting down information and the way you noted information. So here's, we are going to analyze each of the sources one by one. Okay, all right. Island Museum analyzes historical artifacts, okay, using one or more techniques described below. So I know that here we have these techniques, and there'll be details about these techniques. I'm not noting down anything right now. The moment I note down, it'll be there on screen for you to see. All but one of which is performed by an outside laboratory, which means one technique is performed by the museum itself. All but one means one is performed by the museum, and the others are all performed by outside laboratory. And the techniques described below to obtain specific information about an object's creation. All right. So this museum analyzes the artifacts to get information about that particular artifact's creation. For each type of material listed, the museum uses only the technique described. That means we know for sure that for that material, say for example, for animal teeth or bones, the technique that has been described here, this is the only technique they use. So this is what this paragraph tells us. I have not made any notes so far because this is easy to remember. It's easy to remember that the museum is analyzing artifacts. Okay, there are techniques described. All right, and we are talking about museum uses only one technique for each material. So those were the highlights, and those are easy to remember. I haven't noted them down. If you want, you can note them down. Animal teeth or bones. So okay, so that means in one glance I can see we are talking about 4 different material. All right, one is animal teeth or bone. Museum performs isotope, ratio, mass, spectrometry, but I'm not going to remember any of these. For me, okay, IRMS, it is in-house. That means this is the one technique that the museum performs. All the other techniques are performed by others. And what does this technique tell us? It determines the ratio of chemical elements present, yielding clues as to animals' diet and the minerals in its water supply. So what I would note down here is, okay, we are talking about IRMS is used for teeth and bones. See, you don't even need to write all these long words. I have written down for your understanding, but you can use as much of a shorthand as you can so that you can retrieve that information. So IRMS for teeth and bones, what does it do? Ratio of CE. CE is chemical elements, okay? Tells animals' diet, plus tells us minerals in water. So in very short, so that when you glance at this, you can understand what animal teeth or bones, what kind of test is used for it and what the test tells us. Metallic ores or alloys. Inductively coupled plasma, mass, blah, blah, blah. But what you need to remember is this is used to determine the ratio of traces of metallic isotopes present. So I've shortened that down to ratios of isotopes, okay, which differ according to where the sample was obtained, which means that ICP-MS would tell us, okay, where this metallic object was, the metal was obtained from where, okay. So in short, ICP is used for metals, reveals ratio, it studies the ratio of isotopes and tells us where that particular metal came from. Okay, see what I'm writing down. All right, without getting too much into details. Plant matter. While they are living, plants absorb carbon-14, which decays at a predictable rate after death. Thus, radiocarbon dating is used to estimate a plant's date of death. Okay, so if there's a plant matter, plant material, carbon dating is used to find out data about the plant matter. And what kind of data does it tell us? It tells us the plant's death date. Okay, that's all. Fired clay objects, the fourth one. TL dating is used to provide an estimate of the time since clay was fired to create the object. So basically, it tells us how much time has passed since the creation of the object. So it also tells you the time of the creation of object. So it means that, I mean, just for our understanding, these two techniques, okay, tell us about the time of creation. See, if a plant dies, then only you can create the object with the plant. So this also tells you date of creation, okay, and this also tells you date of creation. This tells you the place of from where the metal came. So this is how all this, so much of data, you have to bring it down to absolutely tab points. Let me know if this is clear to all of you. I'll just put up a poll for this. So Surya, you cannot possibly remember all the details. It has to be there in writing. I tried remembering everything, but what I found was I wasn't sure what I was able to recall was accurate or not. So I would have to constantly go back and forth between the tab, the source, and the question stem. And that was too time consuming. I'm going to show you how this data will help you. So it'll take you, let's say, 1.5 or 2 minutes to jot this down, but this will be worth the while. So it is not, you cannot remember the details, all right, but you just need to jot them down. Don't memorize them. Surya, if you can do without writing them, try it. I tried. I saw that for some pieces of evidence I could, but most I couldn't. So once I started just writing down in short, see, these words I have written for your understanding. You don't have to write so many words. You can just write RMS, arrow, diet, mineral in water, even that much. But I think it is important to remember the tabs. You need to write these. It won't be enough to remember 4 methods. Surya, it won't be enough to remember only the 4 methods. So let me put out a poll for all of you and let me know if so far you are clear with everything. It is very important to categorize information the right way. See, remember how you get these tables, right? For your DI questions, you get tables, you get data which is categorized very clearly. So you have to categorize this word data properly so that you can make use of this data. All right. Some of you are not very clear with this. Please ask your doubts. So once again, let me tell you that it is important to jot down these pieces of information so that you don't have to shuffle back and forth between the question and the different sources of information. Okay. So once again, I'll just put up the poll. Please let me know if so far you are clear how I made the notes. Are you clear how I made the notes? Is the note making clear? Again, remember, instead of writing teeth and bones full form, you can again use short form for that. But this is just to show you that how important it is to categorize information. If you see, honestly speaking, if you believe that multi-source reasoning for you is easier than, let's say, data interpretation or data sufficiency, then it is important that you learn the techniques that will help you categorize the data. So let me know if the note making is clear. There is a poll which I have put out. I don't know if the poll is visible to all of you or not. Let me know if the explanation is clear, guys, so that I can move to the next tab. So Paras, wood is plant matter, okay? You have to draw that connection. Wood comes from plants. So wood is not a metal. Wood is not a fire clay object. It is plant matter. All right. So Surya is asking, I'm getting all correct in DS in the mocks. These questions I get wrong, hence stuck at DI 79. So Surya, see, right now, I think you are struggling with overload of information and you don't know how to handle them. You are relying on memory. It doesn't work. Trust me, I really have a fairly decent memory. All right. And for reading comprehension, for CR, or for any of those, I usually don't have to make any notes at all. But I have seen that if I want to save time on MSR, that is multi-source reasoning questions, I have to take to pen and paper. As simple as that. But yes, with practice, you can become really good at this art of note making. So I'll show you how these very notes will help me answer the questions without going back to the tabs even once. Okay, so don't worry, just bear with me. I'll definitely help you out, all of you, don't worry. So once I have got this, now I'll go to tab 2. And remember, I drew the inference quickly that this tells us about the location, all right, and this tells us, these two tell us about the creation, and this doesn't tell us about date of creation or location or anything as such. It just tells us the animal, to which these teeth and bones belong to, what that animal ate, and the minerals that were present in the water the animal drank. Again, remember, you don't have to memorize it. Just read it, jot it, and move to the next tab, which is what I'm going to do now. So this I have brought forward from the previous tab. This I had noted already, right? I have just brought that forward. Now I'm going to read the second tab. And if I need to add information to the first tab, I will. If I don't, I'll prepare a separate column or whatever. Ireland Museum has acquired a collection of metal, fired clay, stone, bone, and wooden artifacts. So now when I'm reading wooden, I'm kind of, as Paras or Surya were saying earlier, that wooden means what? Wooden means it belongs to plant matter. Okay. Found on Kanksna Islands. All right. So they have got a collection of these artifacts made of these material on Kanksna Island, and presumed to be is very important. It means they are not sure. It is believed to be from the Kanksna kingdom of a certain period. Again, I am not memorizing this. Maximum, I'm just going to jot it down. That's all. All right. So I have just jotted down. And again, you don't have to write so many words. This is just for your understanding. But I've written down that there are some items found. They are probably from Kaksna of that particular date. Reading on, so let me see. Researchers have mapped all the mines, quarries, and sources of clay on Kaksna and know that wooden artifacts of that time were generally created within 2 years after tree harvest. Now, what I will do is, where I have noted this plant matter, I will go there, and there I will jot down that, okay, the date that they can calculate is 2 years, within 2 years after cutting the tree. All right, the objects that were made of this wood, these objects were made within 2 years after cutting the tree. Okay. There is, however, considerable uncertainty as to whether these artifacts were actually created on Kaksna. So that is not known. Whether they were created on that particular island or not, this is not known. Okay. In analyzing these artifacts, the museum assumes that radiocarbon dating is accurate to approximately plus minus 200 years. I've just added that over there. I'm not going to remember anything, memorize anything. And TL dating, basically, which is done for fired clays, are accurate approximately plus minus 100 years. That's all. So to the given, the notes which I have made there itself, I'll just keep adding these pieces of information so that I don't have to go to 10 different places. All right. So what has been added? What I've now come to know is there is an uncertainty related to whether the items actually were made on Kaksna or not. And we have got some idea of when the objects were created. That's all. No other additional inputs have been made anywhere. Okay? Clear? Just let me know whether this is clear or not. I'm putting out a poll. Please let me know if this is clear. Bear with me. I'm going to show all of you how all of this is worth the while. So on a 6 question set, usually you're getting around 3 to 4 set of questions, or 4, maximum 5. All right. But I have seen that if I spend approximately 4.5 minutes on this note making, then the question itself takes me 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That is where the compensation lies. Okay. So let me know, guys, if this is clear to all of you. I've put out a poll. I don't know if the poll is visible or not. There's a very valid question from C. Do all the answers have to be correct to secure a point for MSR questions? No. You are marked individually on the question, not on the set. So let's say, for example, in the same set, if you get 3 questions correct and 2 incorrect, you will be marked correct for 3 and incorrect for 2. Okay, individual. It's not set based. You don't have to get all the questions correct in the set. Okay, so I'm going to move to the third source now. Again, I'm continuing with the notes that I have made so far. For outside lab tests, so now we are looking at the budget. Museum's first year budget for Kaksna collection allows unlimited IRMS testing. Remember, IRMS was in-house testing, and a total of 7,000. And what is this 7,000 equal to? It is equal to the cost of 4 TL, that is clay tests, plus 15 radiocarbon tests. Okay, so that means the budget of, I'm just noting that down here, that IRMS is unlimited. That means the budget, this is not a constraint. Okay, no constraint as far as teeth and bone examination is concerned. All right, this is in my head. And along with IRMS, $7,000 is allowed annually. This $7,000, what will it cover? It will cover 4 TL plus 15. That means I can use 4 fired clay tests, and I can use 15 tests for plant matter. All right. Or the cost of 40 ICP, that means metal tests. So basically 7,000 will either cover this, or the same 7,000 will cover this. Now, in case of this one particularly, it is easy to understand that this $7,000 is made up only of ICP, that is only metal testing. Let's read further. For each technique applied by an outside lab, the museum is charged a fixed price per artifact. That means for 40 artifacts, I would be conducting 40 ICPs if I'm doing all metal. That means each ICP test is $175. Okay. So this little bit of inference I'll do as I move along. So now this is my complete notes. These are my complete notes. I will not need to refer to the tabs again. Please answer me if all of this is clear to you. Please answer a yes in the chat box. So AP has asked a very valid question. He or she, I'm so sorry, is asking that how can we decide if we should read all the tabs before answering the first question? It's hard to decide. Also, is it possible some tabs might not even be used at all? A very clear answer is all tabs are used. No tab is given uselessly. Please understand that. And it is called multi-source reasoning because we don't know for which question which tabs will be used. Sometimes only 2 are used, sometimes all 3, sometimes, so you cannot, read one question and go to one tab and solve it like that. It doesn't work. You can try that. I have tried almost everything. And what I've seen is this is the best way to do it. You get all the information together in one place, keep it in one place, and then from that one resource, you are basically bringing down your multi-source to one source. And from there, you are taking on questions. For example, the very first question that we have, you will realize that I will need to read all the sources to answer that, at least the first 2 sources. So I cannot decide just by looking at the question which source I should read and which source I should not. So my advice, very, very strong, in fact, a very strong request is read all the tabs, get your information in one place, and then attempt the questions, not before that. I hope that is clear. Jahnavi, so Jahnavi, it's given here that if you divide 7,000 by 40, you will get 175 per ICP. So they are saying $7,000 is equal to 40 ICP tests. All right. And each ICP test is of a fixed price. All right. So we know that we can divide $7,000 by 40 and get the price of one ICP. Simple maths. Okay. So that was a very, very good question, AP. And thank you so much for asking that. So please, combine the information from all the sources first and then tackle the questions. Don't take one question and then go to different tabs as and when required. Too time consuming, very haphazard, and actually, makes you, has more chances of errors. Let me put it this way. Okay, so let's get to the first question. Now, if you look at this question, can you guys please post your answers in the chat box? Which option is the correct option that you have marked? Don't solve this question again. You have already solved it. Please put in your answers in the chat box, please. Okay. Go ahead. I'm waiting for more answers to come up. So far, I have got Surya says D, C says A, Yas says D, Kaushal says D, Vivek says C, Johannavi says D, Clava says C, Arvind says D. Now, see, guys, what the question is asking you is, which one of the following pieces of information would on its own provide the strongest evidence that the given artifact was produced on Kaksna? Now, if I run my eyes down, which test tells me or talks to me about the location? Where? So this is the only one, right? The ICP test done for metals tells us where that particular metal came from. So this would probably, the others talk about the date of creation. They don't talk about the place. We are looking for place. So if I run my eyes down here, this is the only one. Okay. ICP-MS analysis of a metal tool that reveals element ratios unique to a mine on Kaksna would tell you that this particular metal, all right, was produced. This is the strongest evidence. Okay. For example, the radiocarbon date would tell you the time. So this would only tell you the time, not the place. Analysis would just tell you about the diet of animals and all. So this would be about diet, not about place. TL would again tell you about time of creation, nothing else. In the exam, I don't even need to do all of this. But just to be sure, I run my eyes down and I realize that ICP metal reveals unique to mine on Kaksna. It also is where it tells us from where it came. Therefore, ICP I mark and I move. Determination, then a stone statue was found near a quarry known to produce stone statues during the Kaksna kingdom. All right. So here, the given artifact, if it is made up of stone, but we don't know whether the particular thing was made on Kaksna. All right. Again, we are saying the quarry is known to produce stone. So we don't know whether it's true or not. So only D. Okay. Is this clear? You can see it hardly would take you 10-15 seconds to answer this question. Hardly. Let me know if this is clear. Guys, please answer the polls. It is easy for me to see there. Okay, I think the polls are not visible to you, maybe. Okay. All right. Let's move to the next question. Question 2. Okay. For each of the following combinations. So now if, I'm just to answer AP's question. If you look at this question needed you to kind of, just answer it based on the first source, but you never know if you're missing something from the other sources. So it's always best to get all the sources in one place and then only move on. Question number 2. For each of the following combinations of Kaksna artifacts, select yes if, based on the information provided, the cost of all pertinent techniques described can be shown to be within the museum's first year budget. Otherwise, select no. So what is the museum's budget? IRMS is limited. Total budget is 7,000 rupees. Now this 7,000 can either accommodate this, or this 7,000 can accommodate this. This we know. Okay, so this we know. Now let's see. 2 fired clay statues and 10 bronze statues. Now see, if I don't know how much one fired clay test costs. If you look at this, I don't know how much one fired clay test costs, but I can definitely be sure that 4 TL cannot be more than $7,000, right? So 1 TL can be maximum, right? Because each test would be of the same fixed price. So if I assume that 7,000 is the maximum limit within which my TL test has to be there, so 4 TL tests cannot be more than 7,000. So 1 TL test cannot be more than $1,750, which means 2 TL tests will be maximum. That means this 2 will maximum cost $3,500. Okay, that leaves you with 10. Now we have to see in the remaining 3,500 if the metal ones will work or not. So we know that one metal test is 175, right? So 10 will be 1750. Okay, 1750. So that if I add 3500 and 1750, this is within my budget. So for this, it will be yes, it is within budget. Okay, this will be yes, within budget. 3 fired clay statues. So again, we are looking at 3 TL test will be maximum 5250. All right, and 5 ICP will be maximum $875. So 3 TL max 5250, 5 ICP 875. That means this is again within budget. All right. So for this too, yes, it is within budget. 4 fired clay pots. Now the problem is 4 TL. Okay, I don't know exactly how much 1 TL cost, but 4 TL, all right, maximum it can cost $7,000, and it could be less than that also. So I don't exactly know that after these 4 TL tests whether I will be able to incorporate radiocarbon dating or not. Okay, other than that, a short way of doing it is that I already know that, from my this thing, I know that after 4 TL tests I can only do 15 radiocarbon. So this is definitely not going to work. Therefore this is no. See, can you see how this will save time if you have the information in one place? Thank you, Clever and Janvi. Yes. Thank you, Vivek, Yaz, Kaushal. So we are trying to save time. And trust me, if you have done a little bit of analysis, it will not take you too much time. Good. So all of you who have given me answers, you're correct. Absolutely. Let's move to the next one. For each of the following artifacts in the museum's Kaksna collection, select yes if based on the museum's assumptions, a range of dates for the object's creation can be obtained. All right. This is also, again, we know that dates can be obtained only for the plant matter and for the fired clay. Okay. Not for anything else. We cannot know the date. So it's very simple here that I cannot get the date for this, right? But for fired clay pot, a certain range of dates can be obtained. All right. We are looking for range of dates, not the exact date. So I can just simply mark this and move. Let me see how many of you all got this right. Perfect. Great work. Amazing. So getting the information in one place, very important. Next question. What is the answer to this question, guys? Please share your answer to this question. So Ken, wooden statue is basically plant matter. So wooden statue is made of wood. Therefore, I can get a range of date for its creation. If you look at the data here, I'll just take you back to the previous question. All right. See, wooden statue means plant matter. So plant matter, we are told that this object created of wood is created within 2 years of cutting the tree. All right. And the calculation of the plant's death can be done approximate plus or minus 200 years. So therefore, wooden statue. Okay. All right, Ken. So let's look at the answer to the next question. Yeah, this was the next question, question number 4. And let me just quickly look at some of these answers. So Arvind says no, yes, yes. We are looking at question number 4. Arvind says no, yes, yes. 1 second. I have. Vivek says no, yes, no. Vivek, so many answers. Okay, then I have Kaushal says no, yes, yes. Janvi says no, yes, yes. A lot of you have got this question wrong. Arvind says no, yes, no. Yas says yes, yes, no. Okay, Ken, you're welcome. AP says no, yes, no. Surya says couldn't solve in the stipulated time. So fourth one onwards. Okay, great. Okay, Vivek, got that. So see, I can understand that a lot of you weren't able to solve this question, right? Because of time constraints. And that's where it is very important to make the notes very quickly so that repetitive work, okay, going back and forth, all of that is reduced. So I'll show you how this question can be solved. Theo Wendy says yes, yes, yes. All right. So let's get started. For each of the following results of tests performed on the Kaksna artifact, select yes if, based on the museum's assumption, the result confirms that the artifact was created during the time of Kaksna kingdom. So if you can confirm the time of creation and the time is during Kaksna kingdom, then you mark yes. Otherwise, you select no. All right. Now, remember, the time that is stated is this 1250 to 850 BC. All right. And time we can tell of these two things. So let's analyze. Bone necklace. Okay. Now, straight away we know that for bones, we don't have any timing, any way of telling the time. All right. So bone necklace has element ratios, artifacts, again, known to be from Kaksna, does not tell us the time. It only tells the, location. but we need to say was created during the time. So for the first one, it's a no. I cannot confirm that it was created during the time of Kaksna kingdom. All right. There is no way of dating bone. It's as easy as that. Fired clay jug dated 2010. Yes, very simple. Fired clay, approximate plus minus 100 years. Look at this time. This falls right in between this. So this is a yes. And I don't need to do more than this. Copper box. Okay, copper is metal. All right. Metal does not, for metal, you can say where it came from, but not time. So I cannot tell the time here. And that's the answer. It is this, you can solve this question in such a short time just by making the right kind of notes. Please let me know if this is clear. Some of you have got this question wrong. Some of you have got it right. And what I want you to realize is it's very doable with the right kind of note making. So you have to learn to adjust your note making in a way so that you don't take, more than about 4 minutes. So, and then the remaining, you have to solve the question in the remaining amount of time. So let's say if you're doing a 3-question multi-source reasoning, and to be fair, GMAT will not give you, will give you data which is quite proportional to the number of questions that you're going to get roughly. So with a 6-question MSR, you should be able to easily spend 3.5 minutes on your note making, and within 2.5 minutes solve the 3 questions. Trust me, it can be done. You just have to be very alert and take down notes very, very carefully. Okay. Yes, so let's go to the next question. Your answers, please. Question 5, your answers. Question 5, your answers. Okay, so for question 5, Vivek says no, yes, yes. Yeah, says no, yes, yes. AP says no, yes, yes. C says yes, no, yes. Arvind says no, yes, no. Theovendi says yes, no, yes. Okay. Let me see if I have. Clever says yes, no, yes. So once again, I think some of you have not got this question right. So let's discuss. I'm just going to go back here. Yeah. So once again, our calculation that we made earlier, all right, this we already know. Okay, we know this. So this is $7,000 is the annual budget. Okay, let's first read the question stem. My bad. For each of the following combinations of Kaksna artifacts, select yes if, based on the information provided, the cost of all techniques described can be shown to be within the museum's first year budget. Otherwise, no. So once again, the same thing as question number 2, almost similar. We know that the budget can accommodate either this much or this much. Let's see. 2 bone implements. Now, bone implements implies IRMS, which is absolutely unlimited. So we don't have to worry about this. This is anyways fine. 5 fired clay cups. It is decorated with gold. So basically, we need 5 TL tests. Now, since we don't know the exact cost of 1 TL test, all right, okay, we know that 4 TL tests can maximum cost, $7,000. But we also know that the $7,000 includes this as well. And we don't know if 1 TL, what is the cost of 1 TL. So we cannot say for sure that we can accommodate 5 TL tests. Okay. What if one TL test is, let's say, $2,000 or $1,500 or whatever? All right. We don't know the exact cost. We know the maximum that 4 TL tests can cost is 7,000. So 5 TL tests, how much it will exactly cost cannot be determined. So this will be a no. You see, I'm not going back to any of the sources. Now let's go to the next one. 7 wooden statues. 7 wooden statues means 7 radiocarbon dating. Okay. We need 7 radiocarbon dating. And 20 metal implements. That means 20 ICPs. Now let's see. We know the cost of one ICP, right? So we know that 2 TLs max 3,500. All right. So we know this is just a minute. Let me just complete this. 1 second, guys. Yeah, sorry. So 7 wooden statues and 20 metal implements. All right. Now 7 wooden statues would mean that we are looking at this. So this is covered here. All right. And 20 ICPs. Now 20 ICPs would cost how much? 3,500. Right? Right? So we are left with 3,500. All right. And we are assuming that 3,500 here we should be able to measure for the 7 wooden statues. So 7 wooden carbon tests plus 20 ICPs should be doable. All right. So this is a yes. Then 15 wooden statues decorated with bone. Again, remember, bone is not our point. So 15 wooden statues, easily we have 15 radiocarbon tests. This is also a yes. So that's the answer. Let's go to the next question. That's the last one. Okay, what's the answer for this one? Yes, your answers for this one. If you haven't been able to solve it yet, okay. For those of you who were not able to solve it, you can solve it now. If you want, you can solve it now. All the data is there. I'm going to give you 30 seconds because that's the max you will need for this question. I already have some answers. All right. I've got Clever, Arvin, Yaz, AP, and Theobendi's answers. But again, as I've already pointed out, you can solve these kind of questions if you have correctly categorized the data. You just need to take a quick glance at the data and just mark your answers. Okay, let me get started with this. Among the Kaksna artifacts is a wooden box. So wood means we're talking about radiocarbon dating, containing both a small fired clay bead. Okay, so we are talking about radiocarbon dating here. We're talking about a TL here, and some river sediment containing clay and plant matter. So we are also talking about some radiocarbon here. And the clay anyways is again but we don't know whether only clay can be tested or not. We know fired clay can be tested. Based on the museum's assumptions, which one of the following details about the bead? Okay, now the bead is made up of fired clay, which is tested through the TL technique, can be determined by applying one of the tests in the manner described. So we know that. So what we have to find out is what can we know about the bead. Now we know that for the fired clay technique, the fired clay technique can tell us the date of creation of that object, and that date of creation is accurate, approximate to plus minus 100 years. Okay, so what we can know is the time of its manufacture. You know, we can know about the date of its creation, this one. So A gives us a very clear, you know, right away you know it's a range of dates for its manufacture. Kaksna island on which it does not tell us the place. Vegetation patterns near the workshop where it makes. For the vegetation patterns, we don't have anything to tell us about the vegetation pattern, so this is out. Range of dates for its placement, like when it was placed in the box, we cannot determine that. Source of clay also we cannot determine. All right, where the clay of the bead came, because there was no technique to understand the place of the, I mean, whether it came from the Kaksna island or not. So that is that. The correct answer is A. All right, now how many of y'all found the technique useful? Even if you did not use it, how many of you found the technique useful? I'm just going to put out a poll for that. Let me know. Okay, once again, just give me one moment. I'm just going to ask you, method useful? Okay, yes or no is what you've got to reply in the poll. The method I'm referring to is the method of, you know, the way we made notes by analyzing all three sources. Even if you did not use it, but while we were discussing, do you think it's useful? Now, this art of, you know, categorizing data properly, this can be useful even for your RCs, all right? So for me, MSR is almost like an RC, except that it's an overload of data. I'm going to now share the file for the next question, guys. All right, so just give me one moment. Let me share the file. You can then download. I've got a question here. One second. Let me just attend to the question. Everyone took almost 10 minutes to solve this question. How can we minimize the time required to solve this question? So, Arvind, it took me roughly around 7.5 to 8 minutes. I don't think you can reduce it further, because then the margins of errors will increase. Okay. So imagine for your, let's put it this way, the total number of questions you're going to get on your IR and the time allotted to you have just about under 2 minutes for each question. Okay. So if you're taking 12 minutes for 6 questions, it is still okay. All right. So don't worry if it took you 10 minutes or 8 minutes or 9 minutes, that's okay. Yeah. So let me now, thank you. I'm glad you found the method useful. Let me share the second question. I'm sharing the file. Please let me know if you're able to download it. In fact, if you're able to download it, you don't have to let me know. Those of you who are not able to download it, perhaps you can rejoin, and then one of you let me know if you can see the file and download it. Are you able to see the file, download it? Just do that, please. So this particular question has only 3 questions, all right? If you can see, it has just 3 questions. So I'm going to give you 6 minutes only, okay? 6 minutes, your time starts now. 6 minutes. All right, your time is up. So I'm going to stop. I'll count 5 and I'll stop sharing the file. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So I want all of you to post the answer to the first question. Can you do that? Please post the answer to the first question. And in the meantime, I'm sharing with all of you the link to the free trial version of our course in case you want to take a closer look at our course. And there's another link that I've shared where you can set up a free call with our strategy experts. If you're facing any issues with your preparation, or if you need some sort of guidance, if you need some sort of analysis of your ESRs, any kind of guidance or strategy advice you need, you can set up a call over using that link. All right, so let me see the answer to the first one. C is saying no, no, no. Vivek says yes, no, no. Iyaz says yes, yes, no. Clever says no, yes, no. Kaushal says all no's. So, in fact, most of you have got the combinations wrong. So let's see why it's wrong, okay? Interesting question, seems very simple. Let's see what we have, okay? Let's see, Theo Wendy has put in no, yes, no, okay? And AP has no, yes, no. So again, as I said, most of you have got the combination wrong. But before we get to the question itself, let me do the analysis. Rahul is saying yes, no, no. Okay, let's see. So keep your answers handy. Let me quickly show you how I, categorize my notes on this particular question. So this was a question where we were talking about the qualifications, okay, required for different posts, qualifications and experience and stuff like that. So first source, we're talking about the analyst. Candidate must have university GPA over 3.2 and must not have an MBA degree. So I'm like, in short, I've written GPA 3.2 plus and no, that X stands for a cross, guys. Okay. So this means no MBA. Again, note making is such a personal thing. So all right, that much quickly. And I'm not memorizing this. I know that if I come across a question, then I'm going to look at this data again. So no reassuring yourself, re-looking at the data, rereading it, or memorizing it. Candidate must or will have graduated from a top 15 university. So either the candidate has graduated already or is studying in a, so I'm just going to write down top 15 university grad. That's all. So either doing the graduation or passed out the graduation. That information I'm not adding there. This is just for a reminder. Candidate must have demonstrated interest in finance. Okay. Candidate must have the ability to work long hours, be highly analytical, and become a master of Microsoft Excel. I'm just going to note down in short, long hours, whichever way you want to note down. I have noted down a little more in detail just for your benefit. Okay. This should be an M Excel. So yeah. Candidate total years of experience must be less than 3 years. So that's about all. Okay. Having done this, I'm not going to read this again, not needed, because when I'm going through the questions, I'm just going to go through this. Let's go to the next source. So this seems to be, qualifications for the associate. Candidate will normally have 2 years of experience as an analyst at this bank or other. So the person must already have been an analyst, all right? And he must have demonstrated experience on M&A transactions. So I have kind of these two together, I have put here. Candidate must have the ability to manage analysts and be respected by analysts. So I just would jot down that. Manage, be respected, and that. Restriction on number of years as an analyst can be relaxed if at least 2 associates recommend the candidate strongly. So we're talking about experience relaxation if 2 associate recos. So see how I'm categorizing data without writing too many things. All right. Now I'm going to go to the third one. Don't worry, I'll bring up all the three notes together. So don't worry. Now we come to the third source, which is the qualifications for principal. Candidate must have an MBA degree from a full-time 2-year program. Okay, I've got that down. Candidate must have 4+ years of experience in X, Y, and Z. I've noted that down as well. Candidate must have experience managing analysts, managing due diligence for an advisory project, and interacting with clients. Again, in short, I have put that down as well. Candidate must have 3 strong records from either associates or principals. Okay, that is also there. Okay. Oh, 1 second. From where did I get this? I think this is incorrect. Huh? Just ignore this. This is not there. Must have come from the previous one. 3 records from either associates or principals. So I've got this. Now, if I put together, this is how my total notes will look like. This will just go because this was not there. All right. And this I will carry forward for my first question. Now, a lot of you all got this question wrong. So let's see why you got it wrong. Okay. Now, using all the information provided, select yes if the statement about eligibility or promotion is possible. Possible. Focus on that. Huh? Otherwise, select no. John joined the bank as an analyst when he was 22. All right. So he joined as an analyst means he already had this and he was not an MBA. So all these things are going to apply in case of John. All right. 1 year later, he asked for promotion. Now, he joined as analyst means he already had these. Okay. 1 year later, that means now he would have less than, he would have more than 3 years experience. Not yet, right? 1 year later, he asked for promotion to associate. He wanted to move from here to here. Okay. Now, we don't know that how many years you have to work as analyst to be promoted to associate. So the question, is it possible? Well, yes, he is meeting all the criteria required for analyst. Since we don't yet know how much of, time, all right, he needs to put in. We don't know how much of experience he has to have to become an associate. So the question is about possibility. So possible, yes, because he has fulfilled the criteria for analyst. We know that if you should have experience in managing analysts and all that if you want to become an associate. So he has a little bit of that. Therefore, yes. Sorry, yeah. Because this is the point. Possible. Had it been, will he be promoted? No. Is he eligible? No. But is it possible that he will be promoted? Possible, yes. And these are OG questions. So you have to understand what these queries ask you. All right. You have to understand what these queries ask you. Cameron has never worked with this particular bank. He's 28 years old with 4+ years of investment banking experience and an MBA from 2-year program. So Cameron is like in this category probably. All right. Is it possible for Cameron to be eligible? Possible to be eligible to apply. He has. So he's got this done. He's got this done. All right. So there are some criteria that he has fulfilled, some minimum criteria. So we're not saying whether he is eligible. Is it possible for him to be eligible to apply? Look at the question. Yes. Okay. So yes for both. George was promoted from analyst to associate 3 years ago. Okay. Assuming George has remained in this position as associate, is he eligible to be promoted? Now, this is more like a certain answer. It's not about possibility anymore. So we don't know if he is eligible to be promoted to principal because we don't know some of the, whether he has 3 records or not, or whether he has experience, let's say, in this or not, or this or not. We don't know any of these things. We just know that he's got certain amount of experience as associate. That's all. So we don't know whether he is eligible. All right. So therefore, this is a no. And that's the answer. Which one, Vivek? Associate in file 4 plus IB and MA and valuations. That's not there in associate. 1 second, let me just check on that. My bad then. So it's here now. This is there for principal. Okay. For associate, advisory experience on MA. Okay. Transactions. So this is experience. Oh, I think when I put it as total, then I must have put it as wrong. My bad. Okay, I'll just correct that. Yeah. So associate. I think this is not there in associate. 1 second. Let me just correct this, guys. So there will be advisory experience. All right. Manage analysts and be respected by them is there. And that's all. Experience on MA and transactions. So that's it. I'll just correct that. One second. So this is also not applicable in this case. Yeah, that's all. All right, that's question 1. Let's come to question 2. So let me just remove this. What's the answer to this one? Vivek, it is talking about possible for eligibility. All right. So when we talk about necessary conditions, if you are satisfying one necessary condition, that makes it possible for you to be eligible. Whether you are really eligible or not is a different issue. All right. So that's the difference between, if you look at the previous question, the first two options, which are, I'll just take you back. Okay. This is possible to be eligible, and this is he eligible. So possibility, they are meeting one minimum requirement. Therefore, it is possible, yes. But if somebody is, we are not clear about any other requirement, all right? So we cannot even talk about whether he is really eligible or not. Okay, the answer to this one. All right. So let's see. Trevor says no, yes, no. Okay, so not conclusive, conclusive, not conclusive. Rahul says no, no, conclusive, no. And Yas says conclusive, conclusive, and not conclusive. Vivek says none of them are conclusive. Okay. So Vivek, you have to be a little more careful about the language of the query and the language of the options. See, these are all OG questions and OG solutions. All right. So you have to be careful about how you read the. Theo Wendy says none of them are conclusive. AP says first and third are not conclusive, and the middle one is conclusive. So let's see. Okay. Joe has 5 years of experience. All right. At a large bank, doing insurance, underwriting, and modeling. Now remember, insurance, underwriting, and modeling is not mentioned anywhere. All right. So this we can doesn't figure into his, let's say, qualifications. But he has 5 years plus experience at a large bank. He is currently at a top 3 business school. All right. So that means he is he can fall within this category. He's kind of doing his postgrad. He's not yet done his full-time MBA. He's studying and wishes to apply for the position of principal. Now, remember, principal must have a full-time MBA already. All right. And this guy is currently at a top 3 business school. Now, we don't know which year he is at. So we cannot conclusively tell whether he will be eligible for the post of principal or not, because principal needs this. All right. We don't know whether he's in his first year or not, or he's in his second year. All right. So conclusively, we cannot say he's conclusively eligible. So he's not conclusively eligible. It doesn't mean he's not eligible. Not conclusively eligible means we can't be sure. All right. Cameron has never worked with this particular bank. Okay. He's 28 years old with 4+ years of investment banking experience and an MBA from a 2-year program outside of the top 15 business schools. So he's got an MBA. All right. And he has 4+ years of experience. So this is there. All right. Is it possible for Cameron to apply to be, so again, possible for Cameron to be eligible to apply for the position of this thing. So he's got an MBA. All right. He's got experience in investment banking. All right. So here, not 4+, sorry, just give me 1 minute. All right. So definitely this is conclusively eligible. Patricia has been working in healthcare consulting, all right, for 2.5 years. While consulting has been an eye-opening and intellectually stimulating, she is growing tired, living out of the hotel. Somebody suggested she consider a job as an investment something. This is definitely, like, we know that this is, we don't know anything about her, all right, in terms of whether she's done an MBA or not and all that. She hasn't got the relevant experience, so we cannot say she is conclusively eligible. So that should have been, this is the correct answer. Okay. So I guess some of you have already corrected your answers and I can understand now. So just get the data right, just jot down, make the notes properly. Something went wrong when I was making the PPT, my mistake, but otherwise this note making works like, clockwork. Okay, let's go to the next question. What is the answer to this question? I think this everybody should get correct. So the reason why I brought up this question was the language of the query. Possibility, not, are we talking about possibility or are we talking about surety or certainty? Okay, so I think so far all of you are saying it's 6, and this is actually very simple. I majorly brought up this question for the first 2 questions. So this is simple because we are saying Jack joins the bank fresh out of college. So he's fresh out of college. He's just a grad. He joins as an analyst. What's the minimum number of years for Jack before he can become a principal? Now we know that Jack has to get a full-time 2-year MBA. Plus Jack has to put in 4 years at least of experience before he can reach this stage. So it has to be 6. And therefore the correct answer is 6, which most of you have got right. So great job on that. Thank you. And now I'm going to just bring up the last question of the evening. All right. Let me start sharing the file. I'm sharing, 1 second. I'm sharing a file. It's got 5 questions. Okay. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes for that particular one. Let me know if you can see the file, all of you. In case you can't, all you need to do is just rejoin. You have 10 minutes. It's a 5-question question. So 10 minutes, your time starts now. All right, time is up, 10 minutes up, guys. So I'm going to stop sharing the file. I'll just count 5 and then stop sharing. So wrap up your calculations. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. Let's now, if you see what's different about this question. Now, this question is not given to you in bullet. The information is not given to you in bullet forms. The information is not even given to you in a point form. It's given to you in a block form. And this is one of the most difficult forms from which to extract data properly, right? And despite that, I've tried my best. So I hope I'll be able to help you here as well. Let me get started as to, but before that, please put in your answers for the first question. Please put in the answers to the first question. Please put in the answers for the first question. So the first question was about implied or not implied. Okay, so I've got one answer. Okay, so I've got some correct answers, some incorrect answers so far. Thank you very much, Vivek, C, Theo, Wendy, Clever. Please, there are so many of you out there. It would be really, good if all of you all can put in your answers. Okay, while you're putting in your answers, I'll just quickly start the analysis here. So we are saying gold is typically mined from 2 different types of formations: load deposits and placer deposits. So this is important for me. So I'll quickly jot down that. See, again, I'm saying here I'm writing so much. Perhaps if I were doing it on my own, I would just write, okay, gold, and I would write 2, and I would write L and P. Okay. This is the level of short form that you can go to depending on how much you will recognize your short form. So because note making, shorthand, all this is a very, very personalized kind of thing. The data should tell you what it means. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. Load deposits are, so now the author is going to tell me what load deposits are. What prospectors dream of finding: large deposits of nearly pure gold. Okay. So such deposits are located where they were originally deposited by the mineral bearing solutions that carried the gold up from the earth's interior. So the key points here are, about load. They are large. Okay. They are of pure gold. They are located originally carried up from earth's interior. Note how I have, so these are the things you'll see I have noted down. Okay. So you have to develop an art of honing in on the key pieces of information. So I've written load, large, nearly pure gold, were originally brought up to earth's surface. All right. Let's move to the next part. Placer deposits, on the other hand. And this is a very useful tool when you're looking at RCs. Placer deposits, on the other hand, come from pre-existing load deposits. Okay, so placer comes from the load that are exposed at the surface of the earth. And these load deposits, exposure to the weather causes gold to be released from the surrounding rock, okay, and transported by rivers in the form of dust of lakes. So basically, this part is telling me placer is extracted from load through exposure to weather and transported by rivers, and they collect in pockets. This is the process in short for me. All right. When a stream carrying the gold slows, the gold collects in pockets of sand. So all I know is placer is coming from load, and how is it coming? It is weathered down by the exposure to the climate, and then somehow it gets into the rivers and is transported and it collects into pockets, and that is how it is retrieved. All right. Placer deposit mines have historically been the source of 35% of total gold mine in the US. So this is about its historical relevance. However, in recent years, the quantity of gold mined from such deposit has decreased. So I'm like, okay, earlier 35% of gold mined came from placers. Now this has gone down. Okay. Why has it gone down? It has decreased as the readily accessible deposits have been exhausted. So what have I noted? Quantity reduced. Earlier 35%, okay, placer. Now quantity reduced as easy access is gone. Now it is only few percent of total. So look at how I'm categorizing this big block of information to a few words here. Thus, despite an increase in net gold mine, placer deposit mining now accounts for only a few percent. So that's the net result. If placer mining accounts for only a few percent, my inference is lode accounts for a higher percentage of gold mined in US. Okay. Now with that information, I'll move to the next bit. Now, what have we been given here? Because unlike, I think I have forgotten to put the animation here. So guys, just understand this note making is also going to happen line by line, not in a chunk. So I'm reading this part here. Because unlike mining lode deposits, mining placer does not involve crushing rock and using chemicals. So which means placer does not involve crushing, does not involve chemicals, which means lode definitely involves crushing of rocks and involves chemicals. And because of this, environmental impact are less than those of lode. So this is environmentally better and this is not environmentally as good. All right. Primary impact of placer deposit mining are habitat destruction. So what is the primary side effect of using placer mining? Habitats are destroyed, sediments are released. If this is the primary impact, main impact, that means there must be additional impacts also. Habitat destruction occurs as a result of river diversion and disruption of river bottoms, banks. Large amounts of silt and sediment released on can severely impact water quality. Now, this part I'm not noting down why. Because to me, this is just an extension of sediment release. All right. So anything related to sediment release, if I need, I'll go back to the paragraph. I have not noted all of that down. Modern commercial operations tend to use settling ponds to prevent the discharge. Okay. So to prevent that sediment from spoiling the water quality. So I have just written down these three things. Placer, what it does not use, it's environmentally better, its main effects, and how settling ponds are used. That's all. Mining lode deposits has a much larger environmental impact. We already know this by way of inference. And why does it have that? Because by virtue of size of such operations, generation of waste material, and sorry guys, once again, and toxic chemicals. So I have noted down all of these here quickly. Gold comes out of the ground as raw ore. Gold aggregated with other minerals. All right. On average, such mining operations process 130 kilos of raw ore to produce 1 gram of pure gold. I've noted that down as well. Unlike placer deposit mines, modern commercial lode deposit mines are massive operations. Okay, I've noted that down. And how much they process. Up to 180,000 metric tons of raw ore per day is processed. So all these are facts, and I'm going to put those facts together. Okay. And so you guys have all given your answers here. Let's solve this question. The Grasberg gold mine in Papua, okay, is the largest gold mine. Now, if it is the largest gold mine, then we know that it has to be the lode one. because load, the size of operations is massive. Okay. Producing over 57,000 kilograms of pure gold per year. For each of the following, select implied if the information provided implies that at the time the passages were written, it was likely true of Grasberg mine. So what is true of Grasberg mine should be put as implied. Now, we know that it is the largest, so it must be of massive scale, means it is load. If it is load, then chemicals were used to extract gold, yes. Okay. And so this is definitely implied. Grasberg mine processed approximately 130 kilograms of raw ore for each 1 gram. Now there's a problem here. This is an average. Okay. Whether Grasberg mine was reaching that average or not, like it's an average for all mines. Okay. So this is not implied. Whether it was exactly or approximately processing that much. And then we are told Grasberg mine was located near to a river. We know this is not implied because river issues are required for placer, not for load. All right. Load is where the gold is brought up to the surface. So no river thing is involved here. So this is not implied. And that's the correct answer. Here's the next question. So can we have the answer to this question? Okay, sorry, I think C has a question. Please repeat why second is not implied. All right, my bad. Let me just go back. So, see, if you look closely, 130 kilograms of raw ore produces 1 gram of pure gold. This is an average. That means in some mines, more raw ore might be needed to produce 1 gram. In some mines, let's say a few kilograms less of raw ore also might be used. How much Grasberg mine processes approximately, we don't know. That is not understood. All right. So that is why it is not implied. I hope that is clear. See. So not, and yes, says Vivek. Not, yes, says Theovendi. Clever says not, yes, and yes. That's clever. So clever is saying that the last two are implied. Only the first one is not implied. Any other answers upcoming? So let's see how to work through this one. For each of the following, select justified if it is a justified inference on the basis of information provided, otherwise not justified. Okay, let's see. Each lode deposit is located on a river upstream from a placer deposit. Okay, now we know that the placer comes from the lode. All right. So the lode deposit, whether it has to be located on a river upstream from a placer deposit, that is not necessary. All right. So this is not justified. Okay. We cannot infer that every lode deposit is located near a river. Yes, it is quite possible that some lode deposits are placed near a river stream and then the placer deposits are extracted from it and carried down by rivers. But whether every lode deposit is located on a river upstream is not justified. So, some lode deposits were created by placer deposits. It's the other way around. Placer deposits were extracted from lode. Lode were not created by placer. So, this is also not justified. Okay. Placer deposits are likely to be located within parts of present or former rivers. We know that placer deposits are extracted from lode. exposed to weather, transported by rivers. So placer deposits are likely to be located near the rivers, quite justified. So that's the answer. Not justified, not justified, justified. Okay, now I'm going to bring up the next question. Here it is. Go ahead, please answer this. We're doing question 3. Please answer this. Answer to the first one, Vivek, is implied, and then not implied, not implied. Please answer question 3. Question 3, please put in your answers. I have got Vivek's answer. I've got Clever's answer. Can I have a few more answers, guys, please? So many of you are there attending the webinar. I can see the numbers. It would be really good to have more of you participating in the answers. All right, I'm just going to get into the discussion because we really don't have much time. All right. For which one of the following questions concerning the time the passages were written does the information provided supply the clearest answer? Now, how much raw ore did the average lode mine process daily? Now, what average have we been given? We have been given that average 130 kilos of raw ore is needed to produce 1 gram. But how many grams are produced every day? Or how much of raw ore is processed a day? Okay, do we know that? Let's see. Modern massive operations. Okay, so for massive operations, this is the data. This is talking about average mine. Now, average does not mean only the massive ones. The massive ones, the small ones, the average ones, all of them together. So for this, we don't have a clear answer. Okay, A is not the correct answer. The average that we know is about how much we need raw ore to produce 1 gram of pure gold. That average we have. But daily, how much of raw ore is processed? That is given only for modern mines that have massive operations. They process up to. All right. So we do not know how the average mine processes. We know how much the massive operations process. So A is not clear. Since all of you all marked A, is it clear why A is not the answer? Let's move. What was the total annual quantity of pure gold produced globally? That is also not given anywhere. Total annual quantity of pure gold. We don't know that. Okay. What were the principal forms of environmental damage attributed to chemicals? Now, if we really look at here, placer, we know the main environmental impact, but placer does not use chemicals, right? And we know the answer, the chemicals are used only for load, but here no main impact is given. So this also, we don't have any answers. What are the principal forms of environmental damage attributable to mining placer deposits? Yes, principal forms are habitat destruction and sediment release. So we have definite answers for this. What was the total annual quantity of gold mined in US? The annual quantity of gold mined in US is not given. We are only told that load accounts for the higher percentage of gold mined in US. That is the inference. So this is also not the correct answer. So D was the correct answer. Let's move to the next question. Please let me know your answers. Okay, so I've got answers from Thiovendi, Clever, Yaz, and Vivek. There is some difference. So Yaz and Thiovendi agree, and Clever and Vivek agree. Let's see what the correct answer is. Okay, I'm just going to get started on this. For each of the following statements, select yes if according to the information provided, it was accurate at the time. So basically, it's like a true and false. Okay, let's get started with this then. The first one, placer deposits are on average larger. We know load is larger, so this is a definite no. Easy. Mining placer deposits sometimes has an environmental impact beyond habitat destruction. Now, placer definitely has habitat destruction and sediment release. If these are the main impacts, then it stands to reason that there must be some other impact, okay, beyond. So yes, this can be inferred. All right. Gold production from placer deposit makes up only a few percent of total production. So till here, it's correct. But primarily due to, so we know that somewhere we've written now, quantity reduced as easy access is over. So the quantity is reduced, yes, but not because of increased gold being produced by load. It is because easy access to gold has been reduced. So this is also a no. So that's the correct answer. No, yes, no. So Thiovendi, Yaz were correct. Vivek, Clever, you need to see what you missed. All right. And inference, if I say these are the primary problems, by inference, it means there are going to be some secondary problems as well. No, Vivek, it's not a yes. Look closely at the information given. The quantity was reduced not because more gold was being produced from load. The quantity was reduced because of, the easy access was to gold was exhausted. You have to go back to the original paragraphs. If you see, I have noted down here. Vivek, note this. Earlier placer was 35%. Okay. Now quantity is reduced because easy access to gold is over. This says because increased quantity of gold being produced from load deposit. This part is wrong. I think you need to be a little careful, Vivek, when you are analyzing information. Vivek, you cannot imagine that total production is increasing. Therefore, the reason is because the load deposits are increasing. That is why it is decreasing. You are drawing the wrong connections, Vivek. There is no thus over there. You are placing that thus. The actual paragraph thus is not written there. I'm just going to show you the actual paragraph once more. Look at this, Vivek. Okay. In recent years, quantity of gold mined from such deposits, we are talking about placer deposits, has decreased. Why? Readily accessible deposits have been exhausted. Okay? And because of the decrease, this thus is because of the decrease. So because, all right, placer deposits. One second, let me just connect the two sentences, okay? Think of it like this. Because the quantity of gold mined from such deposit has decreased, all right, that is why placer mining is now only accounting for a few percent. This is the connection. The reason why it has decreased is this. This is important. Okay? Is it clear, Vivek? Vivek, is it clear? The reason given is with the help of as. And because the quantity of gold mined from the placer has decreased, that is why the placer deposit mining is now accounting for only a few percent. Okay, so the thus is there, you have to be careful. These are just, okay, add-on information bits. So you've drawn the wrong connections here. Let me go to question 5. I think we completed 4. Yeah. So 4, the correct answer is no, yes, and no. Let's move to the next one. This is the last question. Please put in your answers. All right. Vivek says all 3 are supported. Iya says all 3 are supported. Let me see if I can have more answers here. Thivendi says all are supported. Okay. Any more answers? Clever, are you there? Because only you 4 are giving answers. Nobody else is giving any answers. Okay, let's analyze. So far I have got 3 answers where they are saying all 3 are supported. I think Clever has also put in his answer. Yes, yes, and not sure of the last one. Okay, let me get started on this. Each of the following claim appears in the environmental scientist's passage. For each, select S supported. Supported means for which evidence is given. Okay. So the claim, one second. All right. So we are told that the claim is there. So we have to look, we are not looking for claims. We are not looking for claims, okay? We have to look for the evidence for claim. So that's what. Supported means you have evidence for the claim. Now let's see. On average, an operation mining a lode deposit processes approximately 130 kilograms of raw ore to produce 1 gram. Okay. Now this is a claim that is made, but for this no evidence is given. This is the claim. All right. If you look at this part, this is a claim, but there is no evidence given for this. Like there is no evidence given that so and so we have this evidence, that evidence, just the claim is there. All right, it is not supported. Then if we look at modern commercial placer deposit mining operations tend to use settling ponds. Okay, so we know that who is using the settling ponds? The placers are using the settling ponds. So modern commercial placer deposit mining operations tend to use settling ponds to prevent the discharge. This is also a claim itself. It is not evidence supporting something else. So this is also this is a claim, but no evidence is provided to us as such. However, this has support. So modern commercial load deposit mines are massive operations. This is a claim, and this claim is supported by this evidence. So this is the evidence, and this is the claim. So this is a claim also, and it has evidence. The others don't have evidence. See, what I've also understood about multi-source questions is you have to pay real good attention. I brought up these questions specifically for a reason, because these are something that we normally don't realize. Are we talking about possibility, likelihood? What are we talking about? The question stem is clearly telling you the following claims are already there in the passage. You have to mark supported if the claim has specific evidence to support it. So all these three are claims, but specific evidence is only given in case of the third claim. That brings us to the end of this session. Please let me know if you found this session helpful. This was one of the first sessions that we have taken on multi-source reasoning. Do also let us know, what kind of webinars you'd like to see in future. But in case you have any queries, you can write to us on that mail. You can connect with us over that WhatsApp number. I have already shared with you the links to the calendly.com. You can set up a call to talk to us as well. I do hope you found this session helpful, guys. In the interest of time, I have to sign off quickly. But I do hope this was helpful. So thank you, Vivek. Thank you so much. In fact, thank you all of you for taking out the time over 2 hours to sit through this long session. Be patient with me. Forgive me for my mistakes. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, guys. So take care. Wishing all of you the best. I'm sure all of you with your hard work will do your best. And remember, practice shorthand, okay? Practice what kind of symbols and alphabets you're going to use for what. That will also help a lot. So take care. See you around soon. Bye-bye, guys. Have a good day if you've just begun your day, and a good night if you're ending your day. Bye-bye.